Welcome into the show. Today's episode of Locked On Big Ten is brought to you by Omaha Steaks. The holidays are around the corner and finding the perfect gift is tricky. We know this. Omaha Steaks makes it easy to send friends and family an unforgettable gift guaranteed to be loved. Go to omahasteaks.com and enter college into the search bar for the perfect gift package. Again, that's omahasteaks.com and college into the search bar. Coming up on today's show, we've got Matt Sheehan in to break down some of the bowl projections going into the last weekend of, well, everything going into when we decide bowls. But that's, of course, a whole lot for us to discuss later on. We get into it with Matt here, and also we talk about the bets in the weekend, of course. Big Ten championship game, we've got props, we've got, of course, the line, total under, all that stuff. We'll get into it with Matt later, right here on Locked On Big Ten.
You are Locked On Big Ten, your daily podcast on the Big Ten Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
You're tuned into Locked On Big Ten, everything you need to know about the Big Ten Conference every day of the week, Monday through Friday, alongside Matt Sheehan, the host of Locked On Spartans every day of the week. I'm Nate Dickinson. We're here on a Thursday to break down all that's going to go down this weekend. We've done a terrible job covering the Big Ten ACC Challenge, Matt, because we've been recording before all the games happened. But we were very excited to yesterday not know that Ohio State was going to beat Duke. And is there anything that you'd like to let us know, predict for what's going on in what will be Wednesday night's game that people already are going to have seen by now?
Yeah, I'm predicting that I'm reeling from a triple overtime game between Louisville and Michigan State, because whenever those two teams meet, it's always a classic. It's always close. Like the 1992 Dream Team could be wearing MSU uniforms, and your local MSU or your local elementary school could be wearing a Louisville uniform, and it would still be a one possession game with under a minute to go. So sweating that one out tonight, but I don't know who's going to win. But yeah, that Ohio State game, not bad, huh? Just completely derailing the Coach K retirement tour. What a shame. What a shame. We'd be shocked if they even get off the mat after that meltdown. So that's right. Suck it.
Big Ten's been killing it in that challenge so far. Hopefully more wins to talk about, or not really us talk about, but other people will be talking about it today. And we'll talk about it on tomorrow's show here with Isaiah Hull as we start to really get into the Big Ten championship game coming on later today. Coming up on today's show, we are going to talk prop bets for that game, as well as, of course, the main things, the line, the total, all that stuff with Matt, as it's the only, of course, Big Ten game of the weekend for us to get into. But first, we're going to get into bowl projections here. And Matt, I want to start by talking about kind of, I guess we should go top to bottom as to where we're at with where these Big Ten teams rank right now, because there is a bit of a discussion at a pretty important kind of spot in where the Big Ten's bowl alignments line up. But I guess, let's say Michigan wins and is headed to the college football playoff. After that, you've got a discussion as to whether it's Ohio State or Iowa that goes to the Rose Bowl. I think it's pretty obvious it would be Ohio State, but then Iowa after that. And then you get into who gets where between Michigan State, Minnesota, Wisconsin, everybody else that's eligible for a bowl here out of the Big Ten. Where do you start to rank these teams kind of top to bottom after you get done with Michigan?
Yeah, I think it's going to be Ohio State and Pasadena, right? Unless Iowa shocks the world on Saturday, then this whole discussion's ruined, because it's all in order here if Michigan takes care of what they have to on Saturday. And from there, I think Michigan State, it would be the third team. I think they'll get the Fiesta Bowl, just because I think a 10-2 Michigan State team would jump what would be a 4-loss Iowa team and all the other teams in the West as well. And there's a lot of teams as well that will have 3 losses. I went over all this on Monday on Locked On Spartans if you want me to drone on and on about Michigan State's chances. But long story short, if Michigan wins on Saturday, Michigan State more than likely will be playing in the Fiesta Bowl, maybe the Peach Bowl, worst case scenario. The Citrus Bowl, which I'd be a little surprised about. And that's where it starts to get interesting, just like you're saying. Like, all right, we start the Citrus. That might be Iowa. That'll be their consolation prize for making it to the Big Ten title game. Still a fantastic bowl game. Now, who goes to the Outback Bowl? Like that's where it is a quite tricky puzzle after that.
Well, if we're talking bowl games, I guess even if you throw in the idea that Michigan loses on Saturday, I think it's Ohio State and Michigan still 1-2 in those
Mm-hmm.
two bowl games at the top. Then I guess if Iowa had won that Big Ten title game, they're number 3 then. But even if things go what would be according to plan and getting Michigan to the college football playoff for the Big Ten, then you start and get into that group where I think Iowa is still really the next school after that, just for making the Big Ten title game. Then Minnesota and Wisconsin is a bit in that next tier of where things start to really get hairy. And that's where I've been seeing a lot of the discussion at that last New Year's Day Bowl, the Outback Bowl, one that Minnesota's played in recently, and then one that Wisconsin is at least trying to get to right now. Now, Minnesota has the head-to-head win, but I don't really know how much that matters when we're talking about this level of the bowl games here. It's much more selective than that. Minnesota, I don't know if playing in it recently helps or hurts them as far as what it means going forward. I mean, they won it last time. They beat up on Auburn. So again, it's a weird situation with what's going on with that last spot. It's weird that it's happening right in this position, because the difference between playing in that bowl game on New Year's Day and compared to any other day is huge. So being able to get that financial boost, get that kind of program boost in whatever you think it is going into that game and being able to play on that day, it means a lot. I'm confused as to why people are thinking the Badgers would go over Minnesota given the head-to-head win. But I do think that part of that is because I don't know how much that matters right now. Well, where are you thinking people who I guess, I mean, this isn't even a committee. It's just the people who run the Outback Bowl.
Right.
Who do they want to play? Like, it's who they want. Like, so what happens here?
Yeah, like right after the college football playoff, listen, you have the Rose Bowl where it's easy placement. Okay, it's the best Pac-12 team, best Big Ten team. And then you have the Sugar Bowl. Okay, we're going to throw an SEC team in here and a Big 12 team in there. And then after that, like, it is all just beauty pageant. Like, you can throw the records out the window if you really want to. And I think that's why Wisconsin will get the nod, because at the end of the day, they're trying to fill their stadium as much as they possibly can. And yes, like, oddly enough, and I'm sure Minnesota fans traveled very great, they just don't want to put teams that close together in the same bowl game. Like, it is very odd. It makes no sense. It's almost like the regular season doesn't even matter if you're like a second tier or a third tier team, because at the end of the day, it's like, well, who hasn't been here in a while? Screw it, Wisconsin, come on down, and we'll host you here in sunny Tampa Bay, Florida. But listen, you also got the Gator Bowl. If you're still a Minnesota fan trying to get down, I mean, that's not bad. Jacksonville's a beautiful, beautiful part of the country this time of year. The Citrus Bowl is interesting. And you know what? I've never heard anyone have a bad time in Nashville. So the Music City Bowl, it could be a lot worse. Now, the Pinstripe Bowl, I can't really sell you on that one. Michigan State played in that one about 3 years ago, and nothing about that looked fun. So, hey, a bowl game's a bowl game, I guess.
A bowl game is a bowl game, but you want to be, I mean, there's a significant drop from Rose Bowl, Citrus Bowl, and then Outback. I mean, the Outback Bowl is a decent drop from those top two.
Yeah.
But to go from those two to the Outback Bowl, I think that's a huge drop from that down to when you talk about the Music City Bowl, the Las Vegas Bowl, the Pinstripe Bowl. I mean, it's that kind of stuff that's like, these are the games that you're ending up playing. I mean, I don't know. I'm looking at some of the projections right now. I mean, right now, like Boston College would be in that game. Arkansas would be in that game. It's not the cream of the crop as far as competition or really being able to be a memorable experience. I mean, it's different than playing on New Year's Day. And I agree. Minnesota fans already have their Outback Bowl t-shirts from 2 years ago. I know really what it comes down to in a lot of cases.
It might.
Back-to-back Outback is catchy, but like it's just not the same kind of thing as getting a new fan base in there. So I do think that Minnesota might end up getting the short end of the stick because of that. Obviously, that would infuriate Gopher fans, especially if it's Wisconsin that ends up getting that spot over them. But there's nowhere else for them to go. You're going to have what looks like Michigan State and Ohio State taking up those two top bowls. Unless it's Iowa over Michigan State. I don't know. But anyway, there's too many spots for not enough teams. And Minnesota right now is just going to kind of, I think at least, get stuck a little bit by the fact that, one, they've been there before, and it's not really up to what they've done on the field to an extent. I don't know.
Yeah, and Michigan State went through this a decade ago. And I still think it's relevant today because it happens, different rivalries across the country. But Michigan State, they beat Michigan regular season. They make the Big Ten championship game, lose the Big Ten championship game. So you think, okay, well, we missed out on the Rose Bowl. We'll go to the Sugar Bowl, I guess. Oh, wait a minute. Sugar Bowl committee decided that, well, we want the Michigan money cannon rolling down here, so we're going to pick them. So, and that's just an example of this is going to happen. Like, it makes no sense what happens during the regular season once you get past those top tier bowl games, and it's just all who's got the most money and who hasn't been here in a while sort of contest. So sorry, but Gopher fans, brace yourself, though. It's hey, I hope I'm wrong. I'd love to see Minnesota in the Outback Bowl. I think they're deserving, but hey, man, world's run by money, and well, I think Wisconsin might bring a little more.
It's one of those jobs I want, working on the Orange Bowl or Peach Bowl committee or whatever that is. Those people who just I don't know, they just go to football games every Saturday. I see them in the press boxes. They're wearing their cool the Orange Bowl people are always wearing their cool orange jackets, and I don't see them do anything. They just watch the football and let people shake their hands. That's it. I love it.
Well, and cash their paycheck too. They do that as well. I'm sure that's tough to drive to the bank.
That's direct deposit right now. Yeah, a lot of those people don't know. A lot of those people don't know how to work direct deposit. Let's face it.
Fair.
All right. Well, we've got plenty to talk about with bowl games after this weekend. There's still one more Big Ten football game, of course, for us to talk about. We'll get into it with Isaiah Hull, of course, tomorrow as we get into a full breakdown of the show. But while we got Matt here, we got to get into all of the different ways that you can put your money in on this game. We've got prop bets. We've got, of course, the line and spread to talk to you about everything too. That's coming up right here on Locked On Big Ten. You know, I'm someone who, when it comes to the groceries kind of stuff, I'm not a very complicated person. More get the real simple ingredients and then make it myself. And I'm also not someone who likes to go through the hassle of going through a grocery store. I'm one of those people who just kind of sits in the aisles and can stare at stuff for a while. So I save a whole lot of time, and you can save money too, of course, by doing stuff online. And now you can get some of the best food out there, steak, online too with Omaha Steaks. If you're looking for a place to get your steaks that, of course, is a great value with great taste as well, the holidays around the corner, and finding a perfect gift could be at Omaha Steaks. It's tricky, we know. Omaha Steaks makes it easy, though, to send friends and family an unforgettable gift guaranteed to be loved. Or, of course, just buy it for yourself, too. Go to omahasteaks.com and enter college into the search bar to order Omaha Steaks' perfect gift package. For $99, you'll get 24 entrees like the world-famous bacon-wrapped filet mignons, chicken breasts, sides, desserts, and so much more. When you use code COLLEGE, you'll also get an additional 8 Omaha Steak burgers free with your order. That's the code COLLEGE for 8 free burgers. You've heard all the reports about shortages and shipping delays, so don't wait. Order the perfect gift package today at omahasteaks.com, and you'll get the 8 free burgers when you enter that code COLLEGE. Achieve gifting greatness with Omaha Steaks. Incredible flavor, incredible value, 100% guaranteed. Back in here on Locked On Big Ten, everything you need to know about the conference every day of the week. Thanks for making Locked On Big Ten your first listen of the day. Once you're done here, be sure to head on over to Locked On Spartans. Matt Sheehan is in there every single weekday, letting you know everything you need to about Michigan State football and basketball. And right now, he's here on the show to let you know about the Big Ten championship game and where you got to put your money this weekend. He's the guy we talked to about all the lines throughout the conference, but only one line to get to, of course, here on Championship Saturday. Michigan, an 11-point favorite in Indianapolis against Iowa. The money line stands at minus 430 for the Wolverines. If you're a Hawkeye fan and think they'll win, BetOnline has them at plus 350, and you can get yourself a good line there. Of course, go to BetOnline for wherever you need in your betting. But Matt, let's talk about this game here. I already gave you the spread money line totals at 43.5, a very low scoring projected Big Ten title game. But just your thoughts as you look at the card.
Yeah. Hey, Ben. Sorry, Nate. Just texting Ben. You know me. I don't like betting the spread. I like totals, but you know what? I'm going to mix it up for you today, Nate. I'm going to do it. I'm going to bet the spread, and unfortunately, I'm going to take Michigan. I just think they roll this game because, listen, their offense absolutely clicking. I don't necessarily have too much faith in that Iowa offense necessarily to keep up in a track meet that Michigan could turn the Jets on at any time for. So, yeah, minus 11. Yeah, I'm going to take it. I'm going to hate it. I'm going to watch them roll to, we'll call it 35-10 10 win, which hits the over. So I guess I'm going to go over, and I'm going to lay the points here, and I'm not going to have any smiles on Saturday whatsoever. The only smile is that if Michigan wins, that should mean MSU gets to the Fiesta Bowl, but whatever. It's for a different discussion. But yeah, I don't know. And also too, let's also keep in mind, Michigan is also, they're not just 11-1. They are 10-2 against the spread this year. Like they are getting their donors, their backers paid if they dabble in some betonline.ag action so far this season. Now the over-under, not so different with either team really. I think Iowa is 7-5 with hitting overs, and Michigan is a perfect, 6 for 6 or 6 and 6. So they're 50-50 whether they hit the over or under. So more confident in the spread than I am the total, but I just see this all going Michigan's way, as well. They will have a home stadium down in Indianapolis. Tickets are, I think, average of like $450 for a get-in price. And they'll pay it. And they've never been to one of these things, so yeah, let's go. Let's just go spend all that money that we've been holding on to the last decade trying to get into this game, and it'll be a crazy atmosphere down there. So yeah.
BetOnline always has you covered for your online sports betting needs with all the lines, spreads, totals, everything that you need to know on anything going on around sports. They're always updating with new stuff all the time. They've got a new user interface if you haven't been to the website in a while. So head on over to betonline.ag, check it out. And if you haven't at least tried it out before, sign up and use our promo code LOCKEDON. You'll get a 50% welcome bonus when you put in that first deposit, get some free money to play with, and then again, go off and make some money big with BetOnline. They've got more ways to do it than anybody out there. BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts. Yeah, I'm with you on the idea that Michigan's going to kind of roll to this one, but you just think back to the last year, honestly, when Northwestern was able to play with Ohio State. I mean, I don't even know what the spread was in that game, but it was just the Wildcats being able to do that against that team in Indianapolis. You feel like Iowa could easily do the same thing against Michigan, especially just with the way that this season has gone for both of those teams. It's seeming like if Iowa was able to play somewhat of a good game and Michigan struggles a bit, then the kind of strengths and weaknesses correspond in a way where Iowa might be able to take advantage. But that's a conversation more for tomorrow. I think that, again, with everything that you're saying, with the home field advantage is going to be, I think it will matter quite a bit, actually. And I would agree. I'm with you with Michigan -11. First half spreads are at 6.5 points, and the over-under is at 22.5. And I was trying to think it can't be that hard to get to 23 points in that first half. But as I started to think about it, it was like, yeah, that's reasonable. I don't know. But as we get down into props, there's a whole lot of stuff to at least throw your money on if you want to get a little bit deeper into this game. On BetOnline exclusively as well. 3 straight scores by either team. Again, we talked about this. I believe this means field goals or touchdowns. I think the line kind of reflects that too. It's -227 for yes, +166 for no. 3 straight scores by either team. I feel like looking at that note, +166, I mean, do either of these teams score 3 times?
Wow, you know what? That's a great way to put it, especially with a total that low. Yeah, wow, that is interesting when you put it that way. I mean, this is always my favorite bet to do during the Super Bowl, because this is always a line that's up 3 straight scores. And I think more people catch on that like it almost happens every single Super Bowl, so the odds get steeper and steeper. So I am going to go yes, that it does happen. But wow, maybe I'll sleep on that one, because that's very intriguing with the whole like I don't think Iowa's going to score 3 times, quite frankly. I mean, I'm sorry to all the Hawkeye listeners. I hope I'm wrong. But
right.
Yeah, so Michigan, it's up to you, I guess. So yeah, well, you know what? You might have just swayed me. Yeah, swayed me right there. All right, there we go.
All right, well, let's just think about it. You got time. Team to score first is on the board. Michigan's at 185, Iowa's with +139. I don't really like ever betting lines like that. Team to score last is the same thing. Michigan's at -159, Iowa +120. Again, up to whatever you want to do on those kind of lines. Longest touchdown prop is at 54.5 yards. The yes is at +129, or the over, I guess, 54.5 is at +129. Unders at -175. I feel like Michigan obviously has explosive play power ability, but Iowa does have that kind of stout defense. And as we talked about before, Iowa, I don't know if it can score 3 times in a row. I don't know if it has big play ability.
I kind of lean over just because, and tell me if this is just flawed logic or not, but like both are pretty run established teams. You get the old bait and switch, you do the play action, then bang, 70 yards downfield. Someone just was snoozing in the secondary, and that's just kind of how I see that bet hitting. So, why not? We'll go over on that one. Yeah.
And well, if you're thinking that this is going to be a game that Michigan's going to either blow out or just not really be close, and in which case the rest of these props haven't really been interesting. Any team to score 40 plus points is up there. The yes is plus 488, which I mean, I don't think it's going to happen, but that kind of a line, if you think Michigan ends up dominating the game, that's what you end up drawing to.
I just can't see it.
Right.
I know what happened last week. You know, the wheels kind of fell off the bus at the very end for Ohio State. Michigan was rolling, but like, I think Iowa's defense is a little bit better than that Buckeye defense, but no, I don't think I could do it over 40 points because that's damn near the total. So,
like I said, yeah, that's true. Yeah, like it. Yeah, that's another good way of kind of putting it to kind of sway people to the other direction. But yeah, I mean, it has to be a combination if you really think Michigan's going to win that game handily, and also just the fact that it is at plus 488 is attractive too, if you're already in that mindset. First score of the game is a touchdown. Yes is at minus 227, no's at plus 155. I know nothing about the frequency of what happens when and if that bet makes sense or not. I don't know if you do.
Oh, no, of course not. But I'll get my head lopped off. I'll just take the plus money. I'll go with no and just assume that it's a safety or a field goal first. Why not? Let's have some fun. Yeah.
We got will there be an overtimes at plus 900. Will there be a scoreless quarter is actually interesting. A scoreless quarter is plus 145 for yes and minus 196 for no. And again, low total, but that's another kind of one where it looks good. It certainly looks good.
It does. You know what? I'm going to skip back to the will there be overtime. Plus 900 for yes, but minus 2,500 for no. So bet 25 to win $1. I might go to every bank in my Tri-County area and take out the biggest loans possible to see if I could like put $25,000 or like $250,000 to win $10,000. And then low interest, I'll probably net $2,000 in the end. But I can't believe they're offering juice on no for that. But okay, for scoreless quarter. Yes, why not? Yes, plus money. Yeah, let's get nuts. You could tell I'm just getting reckless for this game on Saturday as we keep going further and further down the bet sheet here. But hey, you know what? Let's go, baby. BetOnline's going to offer it. I'm going to take it.
Another really random one. Time to the first score over under 7 minutes. Unders at minus 145. Overs at plus 108. Doesn't matter all that much to me at all. Yeah, defensive or special teams touchdown. Yeah. Defensive or special teams touchdown scored. Yes is at plus 225.
Sure, give me yes. I mean, if I got to see Aiden Hutchinson win the Heisman, he'll probably have his crowning moment of a strip sack into the end zone. So, yes, sure, whatever. Just give me yes.
And then we already talked about team to score last. It's a game where it's kind of peculiar to try and make your way around putting money on because I feel like there's different ways they can go, but the different ways that are reasonable to think about it are very, very different betting strategies and ways you would put your money on things. But it's obviously one where, like, if you're confident about what you think, if you're confident in that either Iowa's defense is going to be able to keep things close or that Michigan's going to blow them out, then like where you want to go is obvious. But if you're someone who's just looking at it kind of from a neutral perspective and not really sure, it can be a really, really hard game to make a decision on.
No, it is. And like, I just, maybe I'm erring on the side of emotion here as I tend to do. And like, listen, hey, if I got to see Michigan win, just give me all the Michigan positive bets. So at least I'm getting paid as I'm watching them. Probably go to the college football playoff, getting paired against Cincinnati, which gives them a bye to the national championship game. And of course, Georgia's going to do what they do, and Georgia all over themselves. And Michigan was the national title, and I don't smile again until, oh God, July maybe. I don't know. That seems about right. So
basketball.
That's where I'm ending. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, Spurs are looking.
You guys play soccer? Yeah.
Yeah, we're okay. You know what? Cross country team's really good up in East Lansing. We got that going for us.
There you go. There you go.
Baseball team's due for a good season, I'm sure. So yeah.
Well,
okay. All right, I'll be fine.
It'll be fun to watch throughout the season, and of course have you on every single week to talk about whatever's going on with Michigan State. It'll be fun to watch this weekend, the Big Ten title game, and of course it's always fun to talk these kind of props and lines with you every single week. Matt, we're gonna have to get in basketball bets soon. You more comfortable, less comfortable? How you feel?
Nope, not at all. Not at all. Way less comfortable, but that's not going to stop me. That's never stopped me in the past from laying money on it. So let's go, baby. We'll ride. Just fade me. Just fade me, everyone.
We got fun. Big Ten hoops coming up by the end of the week. We are going to have to talk about that probably next week at some point. There's too much football to get into and important stuff going on the gridiron this weekend. Matt Sheehan's with us every single Thursday or Friday. It's obviously has been Fridays before, but he's here on a Thursday now. We're going to maybe switch that up going forward. But thanks for coming in here on Thursday, a little earlier with us this week. We'll see when we see you again next week. It'll be one of those 2 days. Thanks again for coming on.
Pleasure's mine, Nate. You're the man.
Matt Sheehan is at Sheehan_sports, SHEEHAN_sports. And of course, at On Spartans is the Locked On Spartans Twitter account. And again, Locked On Big Ten every single day of the week, Monday through Friday. Thanks for making us your first listen.